Hello? Hey,
Hi.
how's it going?
Going okay. I was having some technical difficulties getting in.
No problem. Well, I'm glad we could get you in now. So sorry for the delay. I was just running a little late. So welcome. I saw you tweeted on Twitter. And what should I call you? What's your name?
I mean, you can call me Genevieve. I mean, it's fine.
Genevieve? Okay.
I guess more people know me. I guess Comrade Rose X. I guess.
Okay. Genevieve. Okay. And you go by she, her?
Yeah, primarily. Yes, primarily.
Okay. Um,
I mean, the
so
neo pronouns I posted, I don't really enforce those. I was,
oh, okay.
it's.
What are your neopronouns? Oh, Dolly. Okay, I see.
I mean, not something I really like enforce. I mean,
Uh-huh.
I think it's something that people misunderstand. I guess as
Uh-huh.
far as people who use xenogenders and neopronouns.
Okay. So yeah, I guess
There's a
I
lot of
was intrigued because I saw your post that somebody on a Discord server said that they were creeped out by the doll gender. Um,
I was just memeing it.
oh,
They
okay.
were freaked out. They were freaked out by the appearance. I mean, I knew I was baiting when I posted that.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. That's cool. So how did you
Uh,
I
I'm
guess
not
I
like totally.
sorry,
Oh,
what'd you
sorry.
say? No, sorry, go ahead.
I mean, I'm not completely unaware of how my look would come across to some people.
Mhm. Okay. So when did you first realize you were like identifying as doll gender?
I mean, I guess with a lot of things with it's an evolution.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because me, I kind of like had an aesthetic before I really even had, I guess, intellectual knowledge of xenogenders and
Mm-hmm.
neopronouns.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I didn't even like really have all that going. I just was like, this feels comfortable for me as as me as a person,
Okay. Um, so
so to
how
speak.
long, yeah, how long ago did you start doing the doll gender thing? Or like realizing the doll gender was your
I mean, it was
or
like last year actually. I mean,
okay.
like I didn't really have like a label for it.
Uh-huh.
It
Okay.
was like a thing I presented as. I mean, like I don't know. It's just like I wasn't like trying to be all political or anything, or trying to like force any kind of agenda down anybody's throat. I was just being me, vibing, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I think along the way, I think being visible. I guess some people just don't like it,
Mm-hmm.
and they let me know. And I guess I did shut everything down and delete an old channel that I had from last year.
Interesting.
I was on Odyssey, but
Yeah. Yeah, I see that you're in Odyssey. So I guess what is so since you identify with she, her, but you also identify as doll gender, is there a difference? Is there like a distinction between doll gender and identifying with she, her pronouns or
not really. I mean, like, could people think they're like separate things, like being trans and then having a xenogender? I mean, it's really kind of like an add-on,
hmm
an added layer, right?
okay. So
I
what do
mean,
you
like, I still have like a lot of the same issues that trans
uh,
women have.
hmm
If I go out in public, without the mask, I'm gonna get pulled over by cops and they fuck with me, profiling me as a hooker, like a lot of trans women experience.
yeah. hmm
It's
Okay.
just, it's not like a separate thing.
Mhm.
I
So when
think
did
some
you
people.
Oh, so
Oh,
sorry.
sorry.
Didn't mean to cut you off. When did you first realize you were trans in general?
I mean, I had like feelings of like feeling like I was sort of like a girl when the first time when I was like 6.
Oh wow.
I was at a friend's house like, and his dad was a biker,
Hmm.
and he had like a poster of a naked chick on the wall. The first time I've seen an imagery like that. And instead of like lusting after her as someone I wanted, I was like, man, I kind of wish I was her.
Hmm.
But I don't know. My family was like a lot more conservative than some.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I kind of like waited until they died to try to actually feel comfortable to be me.
Oh,
I'm that crazy.
sorry to hear that. So you
Yeah,
had to wait a really long time, huh?
pretty much. I mean, it was kind of like. I mean, I guess I probably could have came out while my mom was dying, but it was kind of like a gradual thing
Mm-hmm.
where I was kind of like phoning it in, keeping up appearances, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. So I guess my next question would be, is there a different type of dysphoria you get, um, related to the doll gender that makes it
No, I know there's no dysphoria.
okay?
It's kind of like more or less when I, present like this, I feel more euphoric.
Okay. Okay.
I
Interesting.
mean, I guess, and some, within the trans community, you have girls who, talk about fish and bricks, right?
Uh-huh.
Basically, a chick who's so who can't pass and never would pass, right?
Hmm.
I guess I fall into that category. So it's like,
Well,
it's just like I'm so dysphoric that this allows me to become euphoric, if that makes sense.
uh-huh. Hmm. Well, I think I mean I don't want to say that you wouldn't ever I think that there are these standards that a lot of people put upon women that even like cis women don't even pass in some ways, right? So
Exactly.
yeah. So I mean I guess my response to that would be that there are a lot of all types of women who don't fit into these molds, who don't feel like they're passing, and it doesn't make you any less of a woman, I
All right.
guess. So
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, I understand that. It's just
Yeah.
like the internet in general,
Yeah.
people are a lot more superficial than I guess real life.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah.
Like, if I go to the gay district, maskless, guys are gonna hit on me, no matter what.
Mhm. Mhm.
On the internet, people are just like, really, the beauty standards are just like, you know, sky high, no matter who you are.
Yeah. Okay.
When it
Um
comes to just, visibility and I guess present, presenting something out there on social media, right?
mhm. Mhm. Okay. So is do you think that why do you think that the doll part is like a gender more than just like some kind of identity dysphoria? What makes it different from that?
I mean, I guess there's like a lot of influences that kind of
Mm,
just have it like, have it all come together. I mean, it's like, it's kind of like the scene from Wishmaster where the woman says, she wished that she was beautiful and he turned her into a mannequin. I don't know if you ever saw that.
I think maybe, yeah.
I know it's kind of like that, right?
Mm,
It's kind of like becoming art, right?
okay. Yeah.
Like just having a gender expression that is artful, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
And
Okay.
when you still image, it's something that you snap and it's out there, or like a video, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's out there. It's just, it is what it is. And I guess future generations can check it out, right?
Yeah.
It's the same kind of concept.
Is so I guess I would say in response to that, like I think a lot of people would look at maybe like the way that goths are, right? Like goths have a specific aesthetic, but they
Right.
don't really identify as like goth gender necessarily, I guess. So I guess I would ask like what makes like the doll gender different from like an identity somewhat like goth, right? I'm sorry if I'm if it, let me know if I'm like overstepping or anything at any point.
No,
So,
no, no,
yeah.
no, not at all. I mean, like, I would say that they're, very similar. Like I'm not very woke scoldish,
Uh-huh.
right? I really just don't like actually care if people validate it or not really.
Mhm.
I get enough harassment just from, got people who are like, "You're a man."
Yeah.
So it's just
So,
like, whatever, it's just me. I kind of like blow that off because I'm like, yeah, I'll kick your ass too, dude. When they,
yeah.
just come at me like that out of nowhere, unsolicited.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, it's just whatever. People can be assholes and it's just whatever.
Yeah. Okay. Let me see. Chat, if you have any questions, also feel free to send super chats. Um, somebody, Stinkfish says, is there a reason she doesn't want to transition in the traditional sense?
Yeah, I can't afford it.
Uh-huh.
This was like me. I kind of like laugh now, cry later, spending $90 on this.
Uh,
Kind of
uh-huh.
like breastplate.
Uh-huh.
That was like a laugh now, cry later expense. Being able
Yeah.
to afford the transition.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm
I
sorry.
mean, I went to like one gender clinic out of two in my city, and like one just ghosted me. The other is Planned Parenthood, so it's like
Yeah.
not a whole lot of options.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm.
I guess because it's like you have two clinics in a very large city. Houston, okay, fourth largest, and you probably have suburban people and country, like an occasional,
Yeah.
some people that might be out in the country using those clinics.
Yeah. Yeah. So like an overburdened medical system, essentially.
Pretty
Um,
much. There's probably more demand than there is,
mm,
people who can, give the services.
yeah. Yeah. So somebody in chat says, oh, how did she pick this mask? And did she cycle through multiple masks before settling on this one?
It's something I've had for like well over a year, and I got it because it was cheaper. I know there are some, better ones that are like $200. That's pretty expensive if I'm getting declined on those,
Yeah.
every 2 week credit payments.
Yeah. Yeah. Hmm. Okay. People are saying Rose is a badass. So, that's kind of cool. Um,
Well, thank you.
yeah. Yeah. So what do you think your biggest struggle was when you first started transitioning?
I guess technically on a biological level, I'm pre-transition, right?
Mm-hmm.
But like, I just try to present how I'm comfortable and how what makes me feel happy.
Yeah. Okay.
Because I've seen some of the debates out there as far as like that. It's like they try to like say that xenogenders are a front to real trans issues, and I'm like we're not trying to like get any legislation passed to make you like validate or anything like
Mm-hmm.
that.
Mm-hmm.
It's just your opinion.
Yeah. would you I guess my question would be like would you want like your ID to reflect your xenogender if like we were in a more progressive society?
I mean, making it easier to just change my name on a driver's license, which, Texas, they make it hard to do. A lot of gals have their dead name on their driver's license.
Mm, yeah. Okay.
I mean, that's
Um,
just basic. Like, I mean, really just the bare minimum, that we're trying to keep, is all,
yeah.
what I'm concerned about.
Yeah. Um, so one person in the chat asks, how does she manage her work and social life while integrating this identity?
Well, because I do, spend a lot of time in boy mode, yeah, I mean,
Okay.
it's something I'm sort of closeted about, I guess, to a lot
Mm,
of people IRL because it's just, you know, Texas is not that progressive, I guess, in
yeah.
general.
Mm,
I guess Houston is probably a little bit more reactionary than Dallas, Austin, and San Antonio as far as policy and attitudes, I guess.
mm. Okay. Somebody was also saying that this there's like a fetish also kind of
Yeah,
uh
there's a word to that as well. I mean, as far as dollification, I'm actually an admin of a FetLife group that's Texas based
uh well, it's called
because I guess
dollification.
yeah, I mean like basically like men who are attracted to sex dolls, but also kind of like want to have the thrill of experiencing that kind of thing with a person.
Mm, okay.
Being the doll.
Yeah. Interesting. So have you met any other doll people then, or doll gendered people?
I mean, like yeah, I mean I know of other people like
Mhm,
I've interacted with online. I mean, not like IRL
mhm,
because I haven't bought the bottom vagina piece because it's like considering how expensive this all is, it's like well if I buy this
yeah.
subconsciously I'm like what I'm gonna have to turn tricks and sell myself.
Mm,
So
mm,
that's kind of like on my mind
yeah.
as I'm holding off making more purchases because it's like I'm trying to like manufacture consent in my own mind for something I may have to do that I don't want to do.
Yeah. Um,
I'm sure plenty of sex workers have done this before they've done it.
yeah. I know that that's a common issue that a lot of women like pre-transition end up having to do some type of sex work um to help pay for their transition and stuff like that. So, um yeah, let's see. I don't know. Have you seen Mr. Girl? Because I think this is really interesting. Mr. Girl was talking about he did a review recently of him like banging one of those real dolls.
I have my own as well. I
I'm
have a
sorry?
little buddy. I have my own as well. I have a buddy.
You have oh you have a real doll as well. Oh wow. She's got big
Little
boobs.
buddy. Yeah, very big boobs.
Wow. What's her name?
Anisha.
Anisha. Okay. Very cool.
Anisha, yeah.
Anissa. All right. Um people are asking if you've considered a GoFundMe for a bit of help with transitioning or anything like that.
I don't know. I mean, there's so many of those going around that it's just like you know, I don't
Yeah.
know. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
It's just like there's so many like GoFundmes for that sort of thing. It's just like, yeah, I might get like 5, 10 bucks here and there, but I'm gonna spend that on daily expenses that I'm having a trouble affording
Yeah.
anyways.
Yeah. Yeah. I can yeah. Okay.
So in a way, it feels like I'm scamming people because there's like because the average donator may send $5 or $10, but I'm misappropriating it because I can't afford. I'm having trouble budgeting everyday stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. Um. Yeah. So yeah, somebody was saying. Well, Zonia was saying we'll promote that fund if you do end up doing a GoFundMe. But yeah, people are saying they wish they had your confidence. So, um, let me see what else. Uh, sorry, I'm just trying to look at questions if there are any. Okay. So I guess if you were gonna tell people you're like, if you had a moment to say something and you know that like people who generally give you shit would have to listen to it, what would you say? Or maybe even people who just don't understand what you do, I guess.
Well, I mean, what I would say is, hey, I'm just trying to exist and vibe and be myself,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm happy with who I am, and I hope they're happy with who they are.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, the kind of person who is overly critical of how other people are when it doesn't affect them.
Mm-hmm.
Question I pose to them is, why are they unhappy? Are they unhappy with themselves, and what is it?
Okay. Somebody asked, what's dating like? Is this confronting to potential partners?
Well, I mean, I'm mostly kind of like in bull cell mode, kind of.
Okay. Volcel mode.
In a
Okay.
way, I am on dating apps, but I turn most guys down because, yeah, there are men who are trying to meet up and smash as of yesterday.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I mean, it's a dangerous world out there.
It's very dangerous. Yeah. I imagine
Yeah,
there's a lot of danger in dating. So,
well,
yeah.
I can't just like if a guy's profile pic on FetLife is a dick. I mean, you're not
Yeah.
like scoring points for trustability.
Yeah. That's true. That's true. Somebody asked, how does Genevieve feel about the current direction society is going in regards to gender issues?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it is kind of like crazy because I mean, I was considering going to the Pride Parade, but when I saw news about certain things, I'm like, yeah, I'm staying home. Fuck this shit.
Um, what kind of things did you see that made you stay home?
I don't know. It's just like, I guess some parents bring their kids there and people get mad about it. And I'm like, well,
Oh,
look, I'm not a parent. And, what people expose their kids to, that's whatever.
yeah. Mm, mm,
I mean, I've gone to the Renaissance Festival. I've been to wrestling shows back when the Attitude Era was around.
yeah.
Not that PG pussy shit today.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, you had Braun Penny matches and
Mm,
blood and Shawn Michaels strutting and
mm,
straddling, and I don't know. He may have been into twerking. I'm not sure. I guess you have to go far back
mm.
to see. But he was twerking before it became like a huge
Yeah.
trend to see.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, if if that what the writer calling grooming becomes like a legal definition, I'm suing WWE. They'll pay for my transition.
Yeah.
Vince
Um,
McMahon, y'all,
yeah. I mean, Vince probably could spare a little money, right?
right?
Yeah. Um, So, somebody is, I guess, having some trouble. They're asking, they're confused about how, they said, I'm confused about how this is a gender and not a fetish. Does being a doll intersect with the rest of your life outside of courtship?
I mean, yeah, I mean, sort of does because that's kind of like how a lot of people know me as, and that's kind of,
Mm-hmm.
and there have been times where I've gone out in public like this, not often,
Mhm.
I mean, it's kind of like I mean, it's more or less kind of a not getting fucked with by the cops sort of thing. Not
Yeah.
why because it's one thing to get profiled as a hooker where you're just out vibing. Well, you have like a freaky mask on. Like, okay, are you gonna rob a bank, or are you gonna break into a house? What the fuck are you doing, bro? You know?
Yeah. Um, hmm. Okay.
And like I said before, it kind of like adds to an existing gender identity. It's
Mm,
not like a separate thing, right?
okay. Interesting. Um,
So it doesn't like replace me being trans. It's kind of like a added layer to help me feel euphoric.
yeah. They're asking, did you struggle with coming to terms with your gender identity, or was it pretty smooth?
Yeah, obviously, because I kind of like I grew up in a very traditional family, very conservative, and we were like in the suburbs.
Hmm.
And then when I was 12, we moved out into a country, a town
Hmm.
of 7,000 people.
Yeah. Wow.
So I had to kind of like throw myself into the culture and like really deny who I was. But I guess being naturally talented at distance running and doing that gave me a slim figure to kind of just coast on.
Hmm.
So I guess that kind of helps me a little bit. I guess in that regard, that's kind of like the one thing about my body naturally that is kind of you know hot.
Okay. And so are there any people that you know prior to transition who you still maintain contact with? And if so,
I mean,
do
I
they?
came up with people I went to high school with because I have a friend.
Uh-huh.
I went to high school with who her son is a trans man.
Okay.
He
Okay.
recently turned 19. Her son.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I guess when
Interesting.
Texas passed that law, I kind of asked if she was all right because I didn't remember if her son was over 18 or under 18.
Yeah.
But she was like, "Yeah, he's 19." So I'm relieved.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, so the people that you are is still in contact with who knew you prior to transition, did um did you have I guess what kind of struggles did you have with them and and them kind of like accepting you as you are now?
I guess certain acquaintances just got address me as my dead name, and I kind of just say whatever, fuck it.
Mm.
Because I guess if I wag my finger too much, it's like it just makes me look unhinged.
Yeah.
I guess I just have to give certain people a pass.
Hmm. Um, somebody asked, what would Genevieve say to normies trying to expand their understanding of what it means to be human?
Well, I mean, I guess part of this fetish is kind of an identity, and it's kind of becoming less human, right? In a way, in appearance. And yeah, I kind of do internalize a lot of internalized transphobia and queerphobia I have in the past, right? And
Hmm.
I guess like appearing less than human to some people and making them freak out. I don't know. It's kind of like a turn on in a way. I don't know. It's hard to explain, right?
Interesting.
I
I
mean, it's
think
kind of like
no.
hard to explain. You know,
Sorry, what'd you say?
I'm sorry. I was just reiterating that was something that's not easy to explain. I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I
Okay.
guess body horror because you're talking about what it is to be human, and I guess that's the movie genre of body horror,
Uh-huh.
or someone morphs into something else, and you like, okay, what is this person still human?
Hmm.
that conundrum.
Yeah, kind of like the Kafka story where he turns into, I think he turns into a roach or something like that. Um,
Yeah.
uh, yeah. So I think that's interesting because I remember somebody else with the xenogender saying something similar that they actually didn't want to be seen as like human. Um, so I think that's very interesting. Have you met, I guess outside of doll genders, have you met anybody with other xenogenders and what have you related with them and what have you not related with them, I guess?
Uh, I don't know. I mean, because I guess there is a certain way I present with mine.
Hmm.
I guess I'm not gonna like say it's not valid. I just can't relate to people who just kind of like dress all normal. I guess, and to say they're deer gender or whatever. I don't know. I'm not saying it's bad or whatever. I'm just like it just isn't relatable.
Okay. Um,
I know the other kin aspect is part of it. I mean,
mhm.
and I mean, I guess furry subculture, kind of like began as just a fetish too, right?
I suppose so, yeah. Um,
But I mean, it's just kind of like personhood, I guess, attached to how how you feel as a human being or an entity or whatever.
um, Zonia asks, Genevieve, you talk about struggles passing, which I too have, and boy moding most times. Do you see yourself trying to go out femme in your own skin despite issues passing, or is that too dangerous?
I mean, I have before
Uh-huh.
because it's like sometimes like I try to like I tell myself, okay, I'm so ugly, no one's gonna hit on me. Go to gay district and some weirdo in the van's like, hey, you'd like to get in? I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
The thirst is real. So I mean, I've done it before. I mean, I don't know. It's probably easier to like to try to go out in public, in my own skin than. I mean, it's probably harder to go out in public in this and like all like this in some instances.
Mm.
I mean, I wish I could,
Yeah.
and it not be like a big crazy ordeal. I don't know.
Chris, oh, sorry.
I guess maybe in October I can kind of like blend in.
Yeah, for Halloween and stuff, I guess is what
Yeah.
yeah. Okay. Um, should human laws apply to those who no longer identify as human? It's a question from chat.
I don't know. I mean, I don't really have a big take on that. I mean, look, I'm a responsible, I guess, citizen. I mean, if I shoot someone, I should go to jail for it.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
I mean, and if I have consequences for bad actions, then I guess I have rights as a human as well. It's kind of like falls under that social contract conundrum.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I wonder if Zonia would want to come and ask any questions or anybody else. Um let's see. Yeah, Chad, if you have any further questions, I feel like I feel like I got my questions answered. I just don't know where to go from here. So, oh, Zonia's gonna jump in. She has some questions for you.
Okay.
So, what is body horror you were talking about? It's like a genre of movie you said, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Is it kind? It's kind of like I guess yeah, metamorphosis is what I think about when I think of like something like that. Like the main character in Metamorphosis, his his body slowly starts turning into an insect. Like he slowly turns into a roach. Uh and so in a way that I guess I could kind of see it that way. Though it's more of like it seems like you kind of enjoy the body horror, whereas like most people find it like very scary, I guess. So,
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think that, when I tried my old YouTube channel that I deleted because it was just a bunch of bullshit and drama. Like, I guess, younger people who stumble across it might be unironically, frightened or freaked out.
yeah.
And I guess older people are just laughing and like, that's fucking hilarious. Oh yeah, but I don't know. It's that kind of like that weird polarization.
Yeah. Yeah. Is the balance how's online harassment? Is the balance of online commentary positive or negative for you?
I mean, like, I kind of just learned to like, as far as my devices, like have notifications for everything turned off. Well, I got back to you so late.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
I just have like notifications for everything off, and I guess I'll check in on one app, see what's
Mm,
going on, check in on another, see what's going on here and there.
interesting.
I mean, as far as that kind of thing goes, it's just like if internet drama or what you perceive to be bullying and harassment and yada is just getting too deep, you
Mm,
just have to like, not have your notifications on.
mm-hmm.
Avoid the internet for a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you ever feel like you thrive off of negative attention?
I mean, sometimes I guess it kind of like depends. I don't know. I mean, I guess it's kind of like normal for, when you get mad if someone lies about you, right?
Yeah.
If you're slandered, then it's like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
But, you know how that goes.
Yeah, I think I notice, I mean, it's not the same by any means, the type of vitriol that you probably get online is much different, but um I've noticed that with time I've started to really like thrive in conflict online. And it's probably not the healthiest thing, but um I don't know, it's a interesting coping mechanism. So, oh, Sonia's here. Hi, Sonia.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
All right. Hope you're doing well, Genevieve.
I'm doing good.
Yeah. Um, yeah, I did have some questions. First off, I wanted to say, when you talked about like early on in the conversation, you talked about feeling like you wouldn't pass. When you were talking about that, it actually made me cry a little bit. Like, not to like be, like hyper piteous or anything like that. It's something I understand from personal experience. Um, I was wondering, like, I wanted to talk a little bit more about that because you mentioned a bit about the um, like not being able to afford transition and feeling like you don't pass, and that this sort of was a way for you to become more like what you wanted to look like. And I wonder, like, how much would you still be doing this if you did have the ability to, like, if you were able to pass or you were able to afford transition, would you still be doing the doll gender thing?
Yeah, I would probably bembify myself with facial surgeries that are, more than just the standard face feminization, if that makes sense.
Okay. So there is an element of the aesthetic
Yeah,
incorporated into it.
That's a
Yeah,
good
there's
way of
yeah.
a
asking that, Zonia. Yeah, because I guess I was having trouble kind of trying to put that into words. You really did that well, Zonia. So, yeah.
Yeah,
I would do a lot more than just the cut and dry face
yeah.
feminism.
Um,
But I
do
don't
you?
want to be excessively too cruel about my appearance, but by cis male standards, I'm hideous in the face. Butterface, like no matter.
I'm
That's
sure
fuck.
it can't be that bad, you know.
I don't know, look like I'm 50 and I'm 39 as like a dude, as a male.
I think
I'm 44 myself. Um, the so it was interesting when you were talking about that because one of the things that I've talked about many times before is I think that the whole concept of passing is sort of a toxic concept, and it is I think it's an unreasonable expectation to set upon people that not only affects trans people but also cis people because when you say someone doesn't pass, you're saying that they don't meet some threshold for femininity, and the problem is that line is arbitrary, and what a lot of people would expect a trans woman to the bar that they'd expect a lot of trans women to meet, oftentimes a lot of cis women don't even meet. And
yeah.
so I think it's an unfair standard to set upon both trans and cis people. And so it's something that I've talked about before, and I felt like what you were talking about and describing, um, I wanted to get your thoughts on that. Like, what do you think about the concept of passing?
I agree with you. You haven't said anything wrong there. It's just like, on one hand, I can't like, you know, you, my expectation of people is where they're at, generally speaking. And I guess presenting like this, I guess I attract, some thirsty, positive attention in some ways. Like my, yeah. So I
Yeah,
guess so it brings out kind of a euphoria in a sense of yes, you know,
Mm.
yeah. Um, do you so with that kind of attention, like for okay, so for me, I have a very different perspective. I'm asexual, and I actually go out of my way to not attract any kind of sexual attention. So like I don't wear low cut things, and I try to dress fairly modestly, and um, and I have like because obviously, like you mentioned, there's the chaser types, right? That are gonna just because of the fact that you're a trans person, they're gonna pursue you. Like if
Mhm.
they can clock you as trans, they're attracted to that.
yeah.
And um, like for from your perspective, like you want the attraction. Do you find yourself
It feels
getting
good.
yeah? Do you find yourself getting that the kind of attraction that you're looking for with the doll gender aesthetic, or
Yeah, I get on one hand, it's kind of like too much because it's like, it's rude as fuck to like try to voice call, try to video call someone on Instagram you don't even know 20 times in a row.
Yeah.
yeah?
I don't care if you're my best friend for 10 years. Like, if you video call me 20 times in a row, I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, it's just that kind of like aspect on Instagram and Facebook is just like, really? That's just rude as fuck.
Yeah.
Huh.
But
Do
it's,
you,
it's funny though, and it's become funny to me now because I don't turn my notifications on anymore.
yeah.
So they're just wasting their time and getting mad because I'm just too hot for them.
Yeah. Somebody in chat asked, have you ever been a victim of or committed a violent crime that was related directly to your doll gender? And you can
I've
discuss
never
really
committed
vaguely.
a crime or been a victim of a crime related to it. No.
Okay.
Aside from an unsolicited dick pic, which I guess technically is illegal in my state, but
Yeah. Okay.
When you've on the few times that you've gone out, because you mentioned that you've gone out just a few times in public like that, or rarely, I guess.
a
Do
few
you
times.
have do you have to deal with much hostility when when you go out in public like that?
I think that most people, they kind of like if they see something they think is, I guess, strange to them, they kind of just look away and I guess try to walk the other direction. It's kind of like the whole you know. But I mean,
Hmm. Yeah, I'm kind of familiar with that a little bit. Like when people, well, it's a little different these days because people are now trying to go out of their way to clock trans women, and like look, and sometimes you can get like um more attention from even both people who are like would be allies and haters, because like allies will oftentimes want to be like um kind of make it known that they recognize you and they support you, and then like haters will want to like clock you and heckle you sometimes. But I know like back many years ago before we became popular discourse, it was like when I stood out as being trans and like someone clocked me, they would like try to pretend like they didn't even see me and move on, and then maybe like stare from behind or something. So I know what you mean. They kind of basically pretend like they didn't like they're not seeing the thing that stands out to them.
yeah,
Uh,
when I go out to the gay district, like if I'm just at a coffee shop, people kind of just do focus on their own little thing, and I'm doing my thing. So it's kind of like an interesting thing to where I'm just there.
hmm
Obviously, if I'm drinking coffee and eating stuff, I mean, this mask doesn't have a hole. Of course, I have like a replica of this that's like cut in case, you know, but
Do
you
you
know what
ever
I mean.
do, yeah. Do you ever do meetups with other dolls?
Not yet. I mean, I just kind of like started my FetLife group, and there's kind of like one person, I guess, interested who's who identifies as just a cross dresser on the site.
Do you think
I mean, it's just kind of like the curiosity of, I guess, pursuing it.
kind of building
Yeah.
off of Zonia's question from earlier, do you think that um so if you were able to get like surgery like you wanted and you got like the super all the surgeries that you wanted to way way beyond like facial feminization surgery, but like you said, bimbofication or something like that, do you think that you would still do the masking and do the other doll stuff, or do you think that that would satisfy your dysphoria? Or is there some part of you that enjoys the doll stuff on its own?
Well, I mean, getting surgery to kind of like look dollish is kind of like part of it, right?
I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
To have an extraordinarily, different face. I mean,
Yeah.
Kind of like
yeah, and yeah, and I would get, if I got breast implants, I would upgrade until it's like ridiculous.
Russian Barbie, right? Like she's got that very
Yeah, yeah,
uh,
that kind of thing.
yeah. So you would go in that direction, and that would effectively satisfy your dysphoria, or that would fit your euphoria that you're looking for.
Yeah, that would be a lot more expensive than the traditional the gender reassignment, gender blah transition stuff that would be covered under a normal insurance plan, I guess.
hmm
But I know if you go through the actual medical yada yada, you'll pay co-pays for stuff like augmentation all the way down to the actual section, the actual bottom surgery, right?
Yeah.
To some extent, I don't know because I mean, like I said, I tried to look into it and they ghosted me. Like I gave them my number, my email, and like 3 months later, I'm like, what the fuck?
Um, are there any trans creators or like streamers that you regularly follow or have respect for, or that you get information from?
I mean, I watched several. Everything from philosophy tube to ContraPoints, even Couples, and uh, let's see here. I'm kind of thinking. Sophia from Mars, I've seen her content. I'm trying,
Oh yeah.
uh, Jesse Gender, Cat Black. I mean, like I can go down the list.
I love Cat Black. She's great.
I mean, I watched. I used to watch Blair White over a year ago when I was in, but
Well,
I
there's
kind
your
of really,
bimbo for you.
I kind of realized how messed up she is, and I'm like, yeah, no.
Yeah, she's got that bimbo aesthetic going on.
I like the aesthetic, not gonna lie, but I would take it. I would turn it up several more notches than her.
Yeah.
I like the aesthetic, just her ideas. I don't like mess with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love ContraPoints. Love Cat Black. Philosophy Tube as well. Those are, you mentioned some good names there. Is there? Do you think that there would be, like, if there were a, or I don't know, maybe there is, but if there were like a popular, um, if there were a popular doll, or what do you refer to it as? When you say like the the thing that they represent, like some would say doll gender, but others they probably call themselves something else, right?
I mean, there's several names for it.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I kind of just said doll gender. It's just like a Twitter post I wasn't like expecting a lot about.
That's the way Twitter works. You put
So
something
I
out
mean,
there
2 weeks
and it's
later,
suddenly,
people are quote tweeting stuff a whole lot. I mean,
yeah,
someone sent me like a what's it called a wiki, LGBTQI wiki link that I checked out that has a whole bunch of definitions and talks about neopronouns and xenogenders, a whole lot of information about all that.
so are there any doll or doll gender type people that have that are kind of like sort of the contrapoints of like people who identify as dolls that you would mention, like someone that you watch?
Not really. I'm kind of like trying to corner that. No.
Oh, that's a good idea.
No, I mean, I don't know. My YouTube channel is kind of like, it's just a bunch of older stuff before felt like to have the confidence to come out how I was a year ago. I mean, it's kind of hard to explain because I was just wearing like a COVID mask. I was kind of like unsure about my look,
Hmm.
but like talking politics. But I don't know. Okay, I was reading a lot of I read the Science of Logic from Hegel recently,
Nice.
and the phenomenology of the spirit, and I'm like, you know what? There's so much I don't fucking know. Why am I talking to like I'm an expert?
Well, you're on the internet, so basically everybody's an expert.
Yeah, so it's like I'm kind of like unsure of my knowledge of like really big picture stuff, but I guess I guess getting the breastplate kind of like had me like feeling like confident and sexy to put this back on full time again, and like I tried a year ago, and I guess on Instagram alone, I've gotten pretty popular because I like made the account, debuting that.
Yeah, I think it's really I think it's a good sign that like you feel uncertain about your knowledge in things, because you're a lot less likely to suffer from the Dunning-Kruger effect, right? So because you're not overconfident in your knowledge, and so you'll kind of doubt and question, and and then look into things more, which is good. That's like you're already ahead of the game in terms of most content creators, in my opinion.
Yeah. But
Um,
at the same time, I guess some people will just like a charismatic Dunning-Kruger person too, so it kind of hinders me as well at the same time, you know. I guess if I want to like intentionally drift off of people, if you know what I mean.
hmm
But you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You know, you got these overconfident Dunning-Kruger people who are just like,
hmm
and I guess they're assholes about it, and people just like it and throw the money.
Yeah, people kind of, they either like what they say because it plays to their biases, or they like the aesthetic of the person or the, attitude, etc., and they just kind of buy into that.
Pretty
But
much.
yeah, well, I don't really have any more
Yeah,
questions, really.
I think I've run out of questions too. But thank you for joining us,
Yeah,
Genevieve. It's very interesting. I'll probably have more questions later. Maybe I can shoot you some messages or something like that. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's perfectly fine. I don't know. I'm sure after this, there might be other streamers who are curious as well. I'm like, cool, fine, go into her.
yeah. Chud Logic is actually looking to talk to somebody about the very thing that you tweeted out. I retweeted him earlier, so he'd probably be interested in hearing from you.
Yeah, I think Tread Logic is more familiar with me before I even like rebranded my own Twitter the way I did.
Oh,
He's
really?
Comrade Rosette.
Huh. That's cool.
So it's like, man, I don't know, maybe I should shoot him a DM.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, and just so for everybody in chat, you guys should go follow Genevieve. I'll link her various socials. That's her Twitter.
Yeah, I mean, Comrade Rosette, I'm still going by that name on YouTube. I mean, I just have like under construction maybe as a description. I don't know. I'm debating on whether or not to delete all the video or project all the videos I have and start anew, or just like have a continuation, evolution. I'm still figuring it out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think that's it for me. I guess unless you guys had anything else for me or anything like that, or
Questions from chat, maybe? I don't know. I guess more of that. I don't have anything more, so I'm done.
yeah, Wabber says that her Twitter is hilarious. She's got a good sense of humor. So, yeah, very true. Very true.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Cool. Well, thanks
Um,
for answering my questions.
yeah.
And
Thank you
yeah.
for taking my set questions too.
Yeah, of course. You had so many good ones. So, all right. I'll see you guys later then.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
All right, awesome.